It was her eyes that first gave it away, the eyes that glowed in the dark, filled with a cold, unforgiving fury. I saw them locked on me from across the village square, and I swear my blood turned to ice. Uma had returned. But she wasn't the sweet, beautiful girl I grew up with. She had become something else. Something far darker. We had been best friends since we were children, Uma and I. We climbed mango trees together, raced barefoot through the dusty roads of Umuago, and spent countless evenings sitting by the river, talking about everything and nothing. She was quiet, thoughtful, and so beautiful that people said the gods must have taken extra time when creating her. But beauty in Umuago came with its own dangers. By the time Uma turned 18, her beauty had caught the attention of every man in the village, and beyond. Suitors from far and wide brought gifts to her father's compound, hoping to marry her. But no matter who came, Uma turned them all down. "I'm not ready," she would say softly, her smile polite but distant. I never pressed her about it. I figured she was simply waiting for the right man, someone worthy of her heart. I didn't know then that she was hiding a secret darker than any of us could imagine. The first sign that something was wrong came on a cool evening just before sunset. Uma stood by the old mango tree near the village square, her figure outlined by the fading light. I was fetching water when I noticed her standing completely still, her face expressionless. "Uma," I called, waving as I walked toward her. She didn't smile. In fact, she barely acknowledged me. Her eyes, normally warm and full of life, seemed distant, cold. "Are you okay?" I asked when I got closer. "Do you remember the river?" she asked, her voice low and strange. "Of course," I said, confused. "We spent half our childhood there." Her lips curved into a bitter smile. "Yes, we did. But not all memories there are sweet." I wanted to ask what she meant, but before I could, a faint hissing sound drifted through the air. I glanced around, thinking it must have been the wind. But Uma's eyes glowed faintly, like they were catching some invisible light. I blinked, thinking I imagined it, but when I looked again, the glow was gone, and she was walking away toward the river. That night, strange things began happening in Umuago. Livestock died without explanation. Wells dried up overnight. And the women, the ones who used to be Uma's closest friends, fell ill with fevers no herbalist could cure. At first, the village whispered about curses and bad omens. No one suspected Uma. After all, she was still the pride of Umuago, a beautiful, kind woman who wouldn't harm anyone. But I knew something had changed in her. I saw it in her eyes. And I realized too late that Uma was no longer just a woman, she carried something darker inside her. I remember the night I saw her true form. I was walking by the river when I spotted her standing by the water's edge. Her hair hung loose over her shoulders, and the moonlight made her skin glow pale. But what caught my breath was the long green snake coiled around her body, its eyes gleaming red. I froze, my heart pounding. "Uma." She turned to me, her face calm but cold. "They thought they could drown me and live their lives in peace," she said quietly. "They forgot, Hugo. But I didn't." The truth hit me like a blow. The stories my grandmother used to tell came rushing back, stories of betrayal and jealousy, of how Uma had been lured to the river by her so-called friends and drowned when they realized Obina, the man they all wanted, loved only her. They killed her out of spite, thinking the river would keep their secret. But spirits do not forget. Uma had returned, reborn in the same village that betrayed her. And now, she was here for revenge. One by one, the women who betrayed her disappeared. Their families searched, but no trace of them was ever found. The villagers whispered that Uma had dragged them to the river to finish what they had started. Some claimed to hear their cries in the dead of night, carried on the wind that rustled the leaves. Even now, I can't forget that night by the river, the glow of her eyes and the hissing sound that haunted my dreams long after I left Umuago. Omalicha had come back for justice, and she got it. But the river, they say, never truly lets go. And neither does she.